Here we are with Center 4, ELF, Air and Sound.
All right, Center 4, now you see it, now you don't. This center should be quite the adventure. You're going to illustrate that human senses are not always reliable to alert us to potentially harmful substances. But before you do that, before you dive into the experiment part of it, you need to briefly discuss how the senses of humans and animals are important in detecting potentially dangerous things in the environment. For instance, the ability to produce, hear, and distinguish sounds is crucial to the survival of animals. And our human senses of sight and smell in particular are important in detecting hazardous substances in our environment and warning us away from them. In Center 3, we learned that some of the things that scientists use, such as air monitors to detect hazards. And in this center, the students are going to use their sense of smell and their sense of sight to detect potential hazards. So, the volunteer for this center needs to bring white frosting and crackers, or check the supplies in the bin, and let us know if you need us to get some frosting and crackers for you. You'll need enough supplies for each student to be able to have 4 crackers and put just a small amount of frosting on each cracker. As with anything related to food, you should check ahead of time for any allergies in the class. In the bin, you will find paper cups, vinegar, black pepper, baking soda, and salt, which you'll need to mix together. Either plastic silverware or tongue depressors, craft sticks for stirring things together and spreading. You'll also find laminated worksheets so that the students can record their data and their observations, dry erase markers, the paper towels that they'll lay things out on, and I think that's about it.
They could also use paper towels from the classroom if they're not in the bin.
There will be a box, just a supply box, in the ELF closet. So check there first before giving us a holler, just in case their supplies are there. So ahead of time, you will need to prepare 4 samples of frosting. The frosting that I bought that worked really well was whipped frosting. This was on sale at King Soopers, but it was very fluffy indeed, and was easy to mix things in, and reacted the way it was supposed to. So when you mix things together, you're gonna get 4 Dixie cups and label them 1 through 4. In cup number 1, you're gonna mix a small amount of vinegar into the frosting and make sure that it's enough to make the consistency different, but not so much that it's really, really runny. So that one's a little bit runny, but you need it to be noticeably different. In the cup number 2, you're going to add black pepper, enough to make it visible. Cup number 3, you're going to leave alone. And cup number 4, you're going to take your baking soda and salt mixture and mix it together until the frosting is stiff. And it's kind of stiff.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
So you'll do this before the kids see you do it.
Yeah.
And you'll make enough for the whole day.
Right. Yeah, make enough in these cups for the whole day, because all your kids will share that. All right, so when the students are there and you've talked a little bit about how we use our senses to help us stay safe, how animals use their senses to help them survive, after that, you will start the experiment. Each student will get a paper towel, and they'll need to divide it into 4 sections and number it 1 through 4. And then each student will take their turn at spreading just a small sample from each of these. The sample from 1 should go with cracker number 1, 2 with cracker number 2, and so on. There's our that's the happy frosting.
3 is for me. Keep that in mind, people. 3 is for me.
There you go. And then 4. So on the observations sheet, it says cracker number 1, what does it look like? What does it smell like? How did it spread? Was it stiff, runny, or smooth? Has something been added to the frosting, yes or no? So based on their observations, they need to decide if something's been added to the frosting or not, which is an example of a potential hazard. And they'll go through those steps for all the crackers. And then in the next part it says, based on this activity, do you agree that some of the ingredients can not be easily seen or smelled? Give an example from your observations. So have them talk about, they don't have to write that down. Just have a discussion with the kids about, was it easy to detect the pollutants with your sense of smell and your sense of sight? What is a pollutant? How might someone detect pollution besides sight or smell, or including that? Then ask the students to give examples of their senses alerting them to potentially unsafe situation. For instance, if you open up your refrigerator and you go to have some milk and it comes out gloppy, and it doesn't smell good, there's your sense of sight and your sense of smell alerting you to potential danger. And then last but not least, or next to last, in the center we have an example of a carbon monoxide alarm and an example of a radon gas kit. 2 potentially harmful substances, well, very harmful hazards in the environment that you need kits, you need something to detect. We can't detect them with our senses. These are just for example and to alert kids that these are out there, make them aware of it. Please do not open, experiment with, use these.
We intend to return these to the store and get our wonderful elf money back. So please do not open these kits. Again, please do not open these kits. Thank you.
And then, at the very end, if kids so desire, they can use their sense of taste to see what hazards exist in the frosting. That is up to you. You could not include that at all and not have that be an option. You can let that be an option. And I think that's about it.
Okay. I think there was a couple things in the center box about air pollutants, about air filtering. These are extras from a different center, but we thought we'd go ahead and put them in here just so you can show a dirty air filter and a clean air filter. And then there's a picture of the machinery that that they test air samples with from in the cities, and then a picture of the air of Denver, clean air quality and poor air quality day. So you can kind of talk about that, of course, before you break out the crackers, because once you break out the crackers, you're going to lose them. Okay. Is that all for Center 4?
That's it for Center 4.
Okay. As always, if you have any questions, you can email us at mitchellelf@gmail.com. Thank you.